What up, Fade Up podcast listeners? It's your boy Bryn, aka Bird, aka Birdman Bryn, coming to you with another video, man. I want to talk about a few things. First and foremost, let me first say that I hope y'all are surviving this whole coronavirus thing. It's crazy. I never ever experienced nothing like this in my life, and I know most, if not all of us, have thought we've never seen something like this coming, man. It's crazy, it's insane, but we will get through it. So peace, love, prayers with everybody. Make sure y'all protecting yourselves, trying to social distance as much as you can, keeping your hands washed, staying away from elderly or those susceptible to the virus, or those who have any pre-existing conditions that could cause any fatal effects. So make sure you guys are staying away, protecting yourself and all that, but don't want to go too deep into that because I know y'all doing the right thing. So with that being said, let's get into it. One of the reasons why I'm bringing this video today is because of the coronavirus and talking about how us as podcasters, we can capitalize. So I just wanted to give you guys a few of my pointers, a few of my thoughts on what you could do during a time like this. So first and foremost, I'm going to jump right into the video. Button up your content. It's a good time for you to button up your content, man. One of the things I like to do, just to give you guys some pointers that helps me, is a few months back I found myself week in, week out kind of being like, man, what am I going to talk about? What are we going to do? What are we going to go into? The problem I had with that is if it was a deeper topic where I needed to research into or something like that, that I find myself, we record on Saturdays, we drop episodes every Monday. I found myself Friday, the evening of, or early that day and that Saturday before we started recording, I found myself researching a lot of topics and starting to have to look into information. It got like really heavy for me. So one of the things I started doing was I started listing out things that were on my mind, anything that I wanted to talk about. And then what that did for me, it helped me to kind of condense my thoughts and know what I wanted to talk about. But another thing I started to do too, and you don't necessarily have to do this, but I think it's a great suggestion, is schedule out your episodes. So with that list that I created, what I started to do is I started to think about, what do I want to talk about? What episodes would, do I want to see sooner than later, and what episodes can I push off to later? So I listed out those episodes based off of the weeks that we recorded, those Saturdays that we recorded. Now, I know a lot of you might be thinking, now how does that allow for flexibility? What if there's something I want to talk about? For instance, the coronavirus happening right now, right? This is a hot topic. It's something I want to get on in front of our listeners right now. So how am I able to do that if I list out all of my episodes? Well, not saying you have to stick to that schedule. That schedule just kind of helps you lay things out so you know what you're talking about ahead of time. Again, listen out topics so that you're kind of not going in and you're just going out and you're freestyling it kind of. And again, there's nothing wrong with any of that. I'm not saying that freestyling conversations or freestyling your podcast is wrong or that you're doing it wrong. But it helps with a lot. It helps get your thoughts through. It helps you do the research that you need to do. If you got any guests coming on the show, it helps you line out your questions so that you can keep a constant fluid length of conversation. And I also noticed that with a lot of our podcasts, or with a lot of people that do podcasts, when you do have those the topics not listed out or topics not really formulated coming in, it does make it a little bit difficult for you to keep that fluidity in your conversation. It also can sometimes make it hard to listen to the listener. And I'm just because I'm a podcaster doesn't mean I don't take in other podcasts. So that's another reason why I do it. But again, like I said, you still do have that fluidity. So don't think for 1 minute that just because I'm telling you that you need to schedule out your episodes, that you can't have those times where you need to deviate and then go back. I constantly reschedule episodes. I constantly push stuff off to the side because maybe I might not be able to get a guest at the target date that I need them. There's a conversation or something else that needs to happen. When we did the Kobe episode a few weeks ago, I had to move some things around. So it's just to kind of help keep things consistent and just kind of get your thoughts going out and not have you pigeonhole so much. Another thing I would also say too is create consistency. So I do notice that a lot of other shows that I listen to, they have great things to say, great topics, great chemistry between the host, co-host, or however the show's set up. But a problem that I noticed with a lot of them is that you don't really get that consistency. So, you get that drop off, or maybe you do an episode 1 week and then you miss another week, or you miss 2 weeks, you miss 3 weeks, and then you come back and you do another episode. What people love is that consistency. And what I also feel that in the meantime is while you are not doing a show, and if there's a show that your show is set up in a specific way, that people will fill in those gaps. And it's not to say that, you want to take away from another podcaster, but we can exist at the same time, right? So I would much rather have you listen to my show and listen to that person's show than if I'm not delivering those consistent episodes to have you deviate from my show, and then you fill in my show, the gaps of my show, with someone else's show. So it's a great time to fill in that consistency, or have that consistency created, because I know a lot of us are working from home. If not all of us, most of us are working from home right now. And not to tell you I'm not advocating don't do your job. You didn't hear that from me. But what I am saying is, use this downtime to create a consistency model, to know when you want to do shows. Or it's a good time also, man, if you don't have a lot of time in your day, and maybe that could be a reason why you can't deliver shows every day. With this downtime, on a regular basis, with this downtime, this is a good time for you to record 2 and 3 episodes at a time. That way you can have shows scheduled out further down the line, and then that will give you better opportunities to know, hey, I'm not so stressed out, or I don't feel so much anxiety because I know I got to start recording regularly this time, so I can get episodes out every week. I could record 2, 3, 4 episodes at a time, and then I could schedule them out. And then as I need in downtime or other areas later on down the line, I could just go back in. I could record an episode, and then I could put another episode out, knowing that I already got stuff on the back burner that's coming. Another great thing for you to do during this time, while we're talking about consistency and we're talking about scheduling, is get a guest list. Networking within podcasts is great. Another thing about having a guest list, it gives that person an opportunity to, if they have their own podcast, to get in front of your listeners. Also for you to get in front of their listeners, because obviously they're going to want to talk about the show that they were on. They're going to want to let everybody know, hey, I was just on this show. I was just on the Fade Up podcast last week. We talked about something great. Take a listen to it. So it's a win-win in that area. So start to think about that guest list, or even if that person isn't doing a podcast, there's great opportunity for information. If a person has a business, if a person is maybe doing something great with their career, they're a writer, they're an actor, maybe a musician, a rapper, singer, songwriter, whatever the case may be, it gives them an opportunity to gain new fans or gain an audience. Or again, if it's someone that's very informational, if you're bringing a psychologist on, or you're bringing a doctor on your show, especially during these times, people get that information. So it's great for you to sit down and maybe create a guest list, or think about, while you're scheduling out those episodes, who would I want to be on my show? What information would they be able to deliver? What would they be able to talk about? So think of a list a list of guests you want to have, and then also schedule out those guests. Everybody has a busy schedule. You can't assume because you record on one day, and if you reach out to this person and ask them, hey, do you want to do a show with me, that person is going to be able to say, yeah, I could put down whatever I'm doing and record, with you. I ain't got nothing to do. I ain't got shit to do. I'm sitting on my ass right now, right? Maybe now, but no. So think about who you want to have on the show. Schedule out that guest list. Start reaching out to those people. Start getting to sit down with those people to say, hey, we're going to record at this time on this date. This is what we're going to talk about. That way you give the guests an opportunity to think about what they're going to say. Maybe there's some research that they need to be done. So think about that kind of stuff. Another thing that I would also say is work on the content that you've been putting off. It's a great time, especially with most of us being podcasters. We're not just podcasters, a lot of us. We're doing 2 or 3 other things. We're trying to blow up. We're not just, recording shows and putting that kind of stuff out. We're trying to blow up. We're trying to do great things. So if there's something that you've been doing that you've been putting off, it's a great time to start doing that. One of the things that I can give you my own experience, for instance, obviously you guys see me doing vlogs on top of the podcast. I've been blogging because what I want to do is I want to create a internet-based network that includes blogs, vlogs, and podcasts. I want to turn that into something, but personally I feel like I need to live in that space and experience it and understand it Because if I'm trying to curate that, or I'm trying to get people to be involved in that network, I think it's great for me, or it's better for me to understand their plight and their struggles, and be able to understand, what they need, what it is that I could do for them, instead of just kind of capitalizing off of it. But I struggle right now because, you don't have the time. So I'm not able to blog consistently. I'm not able to vlog consistently, as you guys see. If you're subscribing to my page, by the way, you better make sure you're subscribing to this YouTube if you're watching this. But I don't have the opportunity to do that. So it's a great time for me to sit down and do that. So some of you want to get better at marketing. Some of you want to get better at your social media content. Some of you might be wanting to do blogs and vlogs. It's a great time to start working on the stuff that you've been putting off right now. Sit down, take that time, get yourself immersed in it, give yourself an opportunity to learn it, and then go ahead and put it out. So like I said, during this time with the coronavirus, everybody being self-quarantine, social distancing, it's a great time for us as podcasters to really take advantage of that. It's a great time for us to get the information out to people that need the information. Realize something, everybody, people gonna get tired of being on Netflix all day. They're gonna get tired of Hulu all day. They're gonna get tired of video games all day. People are at the house right now, I'm going out of my fucking mind because I'm sitting around all day. So it's a great time for you to kind of take advantage of that and put out some of that content, put out some great things, because people are going to be looking for that. So again, listen, if you got questions, if there's anything I could do to help, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Leave something in the comments. Please make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to get with me, please send me an email, thefadeuppodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at The Fade Up Podcast. You can also follow the show on Twitter at Fade Up Podcast. Look out for me on Instagram on my personal page if you want to, at Birdman Bren. Really, like I said, I appreciate everybody listening. Just a few tidbits I wanted to put out. Again, if you got any questions or anything you want to talk about, please reach out to me. It's your boy, Bird, aka Birdman Bren. Hit me up. Peace out.